All right, everybody. Welcome back to Rob's Arcade. I am your host, of course, Rob French, and it is time for the Monday show. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm dressed like this, and I will get to all of that in a moment. But for those of you who are not familiar with the Monday show, I like to get with you guys at least twice a week and just kind of catch up and hang out in the Monday shows where I kind of talk about the weekend, see how your weekend was, talk about my weekend a little bit, the week ahead, and then I also like to hit you guys up on Wednesdays. So if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I got multiple videos. I got a lot of stuff hitting this week. And this is the last Monday show of October. So I'm dressed up in a little Halloween costume. I'm doing like a little Star Wars kind of thing, I feel like. Hopefully that kind of like is apparent here with this little like alien head. And this little cool little space uniform here, Blue Squadron standing by. Uh, Now, again, like I said, I like to do a little Monday show and just kind of hang out and talk about your weekend. I really hope you guys had a good weekend. I got a lot to talk about, so I'm gonna kind of like get right into it. But I want to know about your weekend as well, you guys. Hopefully, everybody had a really good weekend. I don't want you just to kind of nod and be like, "Oh yeah, my weekend was kind of okay, I guess." Tell me what you did, man. Hit me in the comment section. That's like what this is for, right? Even if you didn't do anything, just be like, "Nah, bro, I didn't do anything, man. I was just kind of hanging out, whatever. Let me know. Buck has this really cool new job going on, so I know he's got some cool stuff happening. Buck is the guy who provided me with this really cool. Let's go ahead and hear this again. Yeah, pumping up the speakers right there. Right from my phone. Yeah, dude, Buck, hopefully you had a good weekend. Hopefully everybody did. I'm going to tell you about my weekend, okay? I want you guys to hit the comment section. Let me know what you did. But here I am to tell you about my weekend. My weekend was actually really phenomenal. Uh, this weekend we were supposed to do Disney. We do Disney a lot, being Florida residents now, pass holders, annual pass holders at Disney. That's really cool. That was kind of like the goal, really, if you think about it. My wife and I are celebrating our anniversary tomorrow. Thank you very much. 3 years married. Very cool. And that was kind of like the goal. Like that was the whole idea. You guys like move to Florida, become Disney annual freaking pass holders, and we are. Like we do it. Uh, we love it. It's absolutely beautiful. Like I can't appreciate my wife enough for everything she's done. She's such like a dream. My wife is a dream maker. You have dream catchers. She's a dream maker. She makes things happen. If you've been following me, if not, man, subscribe. Like I said, I've been talking about in my last one of my last videos. I think it was the last Monday show, meeting Stan Lee. Um, that was all like because of my wife and everything. She's really cool. She does some really fun stuff. And this past weekend, we were supposed to do Disney, and she said at the last minute, like, "Hey, they're doing this horror con. It's called Spooky Empire. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it. Spooky Empire, really cool." And she was like, "They got some cool people." She's like, James Murray from Practical Jokers is going to be there. Her buddy Ryan Hurst, our friends Guy Hutchinson and Dana Snyder, who you probably know from um, Cartoon Network. Is it the Milkshake, Master Shake? It's also on Venture Brothers. These are guys we've hung out before in other cons, GalaxyCon. There's another video for that. Go back in the archive and you can check out that video, GalaxyCon 2018, I think it was. We hung out with these guys. Just really cool, really fun. Freddy Krueger was, I think, the main event at this Spooky Empire event, and I actually got to meet him this weekend. But it was a pretty crazy overall event. I'm gonna go ahead and break it all kind of down for you now. Just kind of tell you about how it all fell into place. Like I said, we're supposed to go to Disney. My wife said there's this horror con. I was like, let's do it. Let's just go ahead. We'll get the tickets. We'll hang out. It'll be a great time. Um, She put the tickets together and got everything straight. We got some cool little costumes happening. She dressed up like Freddy Krueger. I kind of dressed up like an 80s punk rock kind of like victim, if you will, you know. And we also went with her aunt Marlene. I know you've heard me talk a lot about our Aunt Marlene here in the videos. She's always a staple and having a good time. So she came with us, and we got there. We met James Murray. Like I said, if you follow me on Twitter, it's down there in the description. You can just hit that up. You can see the pictures with me and James Murray from Practical Jokers, as well as Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund. Um, but we got there. We hopped in line. We met James Murray really quick. If you've ever watched the show in Practical Jokers, he's exactly like you would imagine. Basically, just really high energy, really cool guy. Talked to us a little bit, put us a little bit on the spot. Was like, "Hey, what's your favorite segment?" I'm like, "Dude, are you serious? I mean, right now, I don't know. So there's so many good ones, man. You guys are so good on everything you do." We talked a little bit. He showed us his driver's license, which he still carries, which still has the shaved eyebrows. Believe it or not, looks like me here. If you want to know what James Murray's driver's license photo looks like, this is what it looks like right here. Uh, my wife met up with Ryan Hurst again. And then I hopped in line to pretty much meet Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund. When I got into line, it didn't move for hours. Like I think I moved maybe 10 feet in 2 hours. Like it did not move. And excuse me, I met Stan Lee. And I can understand how it works to do photo ops and then signings, but it seemed like all he was doing was photo ops. Like that was just all he was doing all day. And at some point, they literally like just kind of pulled us aside and were like, "Hey, look, you probably aren't going to get a signing with Robert Englund today. It's just not going to happen." So they gave us passes. They gave us like they upgraded our wristband. We had purple. We got red. We can come back tomorrow. So like, go ahead, hang out, check out some other stuff, guys. Like, this is a cool con. Like, just don't get stuck in line. So I did that. Came back on Sunday. I felt bad. My wife had to work. Had to put in some overtime, so she couldn't come with. But I got there around noon, about an hour after the place opened, and just hopped right into line, which ironically was right at the same place, like where I kind of hopped out of the day before. Like it was like Sunday. I went back and I hopped into line. It was like pretty much like right where I left off. And after hitting up the ATM and getting some more cash out to make sure I had enough money to meet Mr. Englund, I was overhearing a conversation with the lady who kind of like holds the end of the line and some of the other people there, and she was pretty much telling everybody like, you're not going to see him today. If you're going to stand in line here to like get an autograph, it's just not going to happen. Which at first I kind of thought I was like hearing things. I'm like, are you serious right now? Like, it's only 12 o'clock. We just got here. She's like, understand that. And I'm like, I was given a pass to come back. And of course, I get that whole like, well, you were given a pass to come back to the con. This lady was kind of getting on my nerves. She was kind of like a bitch at first, but she quickly became my hero, really. um, but she was explaining how, Robert Englund's kind of like caught up doing photo ops, and as long as people keep buying photo ops, like he's going to do photo ops. And she's like, you can stand in line all day, but most likely it's not going to happen. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I just got here. It's 12 o'clock. He's not leaving till 7. Like, there's no way in the world you're telling me there's like a 0% chance I'm going to meet this guy. And she was like, I'm sorry, but like at 2, he's got a panel. And I know how panels go. Panels take a long time. They can go on forever. I did a really cool panel at with Smallville. Again, I did panels with Guy Hutchinson and Dana Snyder, and yeah, they can take sometimes a couple hours. then she was saying, that he could potentially come back and do some signings, but he's not. And this is where they kind of got me. He's not guaranteed. He's not, or should I say, he's not guaranteed. He's not. What's the word? Oh my God, it's right there, ain't that? He's not. It's gonna take me the whole show just to get this word out. Obligated. Boom. Did it. I knew I'd get it, guys. Old turtle brain kicking in. So he's not obligated to do signings, right? So basically, if he has time, he can. But if somebody buys a photo pass, he is obligated to do that. So they were telling me at this point, like if you just spend, which was like an extra $40 to do the photo pass, you'll meet him. You'll get to see him. And so at first I was kind of like bummed out. I'm like, what do you mean? Like I just got here and you're telling me I'm not going to see him? Like what kind of like optimistic person? Like, you're such a pessimist. Like what the hell's going on? So they explained to me though, like, he's doing photo ops. If you just, I'm like, is this scheduled? Like, no, it's going on. It's going on right now. So I was like, yeah, point me in the line to get into this. And it really was that simple. Like I bought a photo op. I got in line. 45 minutes later, I'm hanging out with Robert Englund. He's putting his arm on me, taking a picture. Again, if you go to my Twitter, you can see it. And it was just really cool. Like he was like, we're two cool guys just hanging out. He had his Freddy claws. I had my like fake knife, and it was just like a really cool moment. I got to meet as well, which I didn't realize this at first. I love this lady from multiple things. My mom and I used to watch Twin Peaks all the time, and probably like too young to really even be like watching Twin Peaks. But Cheryl and Finn was there. Such a hard name. Cheryl and Finn was there, who was I guess probably like her breakout role was Twin Peaks. But I know her from Tales from the Crypt, which I actually have that season 6, and it's like the season finale of that series, and of season 6, and it's really cool. It's like a Humphrey Bogart kind of like Forrest Gump, using that technology to bring actors back, kind of a thing. And I didn't realize that until I got home, but I got to meet her and talk with her for a little bit. My wife recognized her from Gilmore Girls. But overall, it was just like a really fun, really cool weekend. I did get some footage together, and I will be sharing that with you guys probably tomorrow. So again, if you're not a subscriber, I would definitely go down and hit that subscribe button while you're commenting and let me know not only what you thought about this episode, but what you did this weekend as well. Because like I said, I don't just hop up here just to talk and just to ramble. But it was really cool. I got to get in. Like I spent like a couple hours, like I said, in line on Saturday, just kind of like really not moving at all. It was like kind of ridiculous. The Stan Lee line moved slowly, but there was a progression in it. And man, this was just like 20 cars piled up on the highway, and you weren't going anywhere unless basically somebody just kind of bailed out. And I noticed after I hopped in line to get the photo done, and I got my photo done, it was crazy too. It was like down to the wire. It really was. Like as I was getting my photo printed out after meeting Robert Englund, they were basically doing like last call. It was like, after this, like this is it. He's going to his panel. He'll be tied up in that for a little while, and then who knows? He could just like pack up his shit, head home. I wanted to meet Miss Finnegan, and get her autograph for my mom. But I think she was done by the time I got out of line with Mr. Englund. I think I saw her heading back upstairs with her money man, and I don't think she came back down. I think she was pretty much done for the day. She might have come back down late in the afternoon, but I didn't see her or James Murray from like 2 or 3 o'clock um, on, and I left about about an hour or so after that. So I don't know if they were just on lunch or what was going on, but they kind of disappeared. But there was like some really cool people there. A couple of the actors who've played like Michael Myers from the Robert zombie films. Tyler, what's his name? Oh gosh, like drawing a blank now. He was in like The Devil's Rejects and all of that. Come on, guys, help me out here, please. Tyler Maine. He played Michael Myers. With Rob Zombie, and then C.J. Graham, who played uh, Jason Voorhees in one of the installments. I think it was like the fourth or fifth movie, something like that. As well as, oh gosh, Andy Barkley was there, and then a whole panel of like victims from different Nightmare on Elm Street films, which is really cool. It's like a whole panel of victims, like the mom, the first film. It was just so many different people. Um, Really cool. It's just a really cool weekend, and I owe it all to my wife. And I kind of want to dedicate this whole episode to her. Like I said, tomorrow is our anniversary. We're celebrating 3 years being married. We got a trip to Disney coming up this Saturday. A bunch of other stuff happening in November. We're just always like just hanging out, just doing fun stuff. I love this woman to death. I really do. I mean, I can't stress enough how lucky I am. I wake up sometimes and I just like look at her. And I got the dog, her sweet little Veda dog, in the bed with me, and her, and I really am very fortunate. I mean, she allows me to do this kind of stuff, and I don't mean that your wife lets you, but I mean, let's face it, there are some guys out there who really can't. Like my cousin Holden was always being kind of like held by his pigeon wings, pigeon held, whatever it is, uh, you know, when it came to like video game time and doing stuff and hopping online and just kind of hanging out with your friends on Fortnite or whatever. And my wife is just like, just go ahead, do your thing. Like, she does her thing, and she's a little jealous of the fact that I got to meet Robert Englund, of course. But she's going to try to hang out and do some stuff at Universal Studios on Halloween herself. Like actually go to Halloween Horror Nights with some friends of hers on Halloween, which would be a lot of fun. I mean, I'm gonna be by myself on Halloween. That's kind of sad when I think about that. But we do things together, and we allow each other to do fun things, with our friends, and just things that we really want to do. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just really fortunate that I'm married to somebody who shares a passion for all these crazy things and all this fun stuff. And yeah, just I don't know. I can't really put it into words. All the stuff I get to do and all the fun things. Like I got to meet Stan Lee because of my wife. I've got to meet James Murray because of my wife, and Robert Englund, and that was such a cool moment. He looks just like you would imagine. It's amazing. He really hasn't aged. We just watched Urban Legend the other night, and it doesn't look like he's aged very much. And even though there is a lot of makeup and prosthetics to Freddy Krueger, I mean, it looks. He's not a guy in a mask. We've talked about this before. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe not on the show, but I know I've talked about this recently with my wife and other people. Is that you got Tyler, and you got CJ, and these are just guys who basically play Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees, and they are just kind of like guys in a mask, much like I'm just a guy in a mask here from a galaxy far, far away. But Freddy Krueger really is like Robert Englund. You can't really like get anybody else. I think they did a reboot, and somebody else played Freddy Krueger, but it just doesn't really work with somebody else. Like Robert Englund really is such a personality, and it really was so cool to get to meet him because he's my dad made us watch horror movies growing up, and they scared us, and he used to scare us and chase us around. But the Freddy Krueger movies, man, like they kept us coming back. Today we have like different Marvel movies and adventure movies that we look forward to, but back in the day, man, it was like Freddy Krueger, dude. Like when a new Freddy Krueger movie came out, man, I wanted to rent that. I wanted to see it. I'm like 11, 12 years old. Like, oh man, I gotta see the new Freddy Krueger movie, man. I gotta see what this dude's up to now. It's like this, that was our franchise, back in the day. So, my dad showed me horror movies growing up and really like introduced me to them at a young age. But yeah, Freddy, man, he kept me coming back. So to get to meet him, it was like just such a cool experience and like really, like, he's the reason why, um, I love horror movies and movies in general. Like trying to figure out like, like I said, my dad used to show me these movies, but then like, he would pull me aside and go like, this is what this dude looks like without makeup, and I'm like, holy shit. Robert Englund looks just like my dad, basically. Like he's just a guy. And I'm like, well, how do they do this? And so that just got me interested in like movie making and just all that stuff in general and like special effects and what have you. So um, yeah, if it wasn't for like Friday the 13th and a lot of these movies, like yeah, I wouldn't really like horror. But like I said, if it wasn't for Nightmare on Elm Street, like I don't know if I would have kept coming back. Like I just that's the one that like kept me coming back and kept me interested in the genre and the franchise. That even like I remember like one of the first movies I went to go see with like my high school girlfriend was Freddy's New Nightmare, and it was like a franchise that her and I both we were like 15, 14 years old, and we both like grew up on that, and that was like our first like date movie. I remember I think my sister came with us as kind of like a chaperone, so we weren't like too smoochy or whatever, but we were so into the movie it really wasn't even like we didn't care. We're like whatever, like we're just we're here to see Freddy. We're not here to make out. But we love the movie, and it was just like it's been a part like a part of my childhood and my adolescence and everything growing up. So I actually got to meet Robert Englund. He's such a sweetheart. He's such a nice guy. So like he's just so suave, so like well put together. I mean, he looked like he just walked out of like a fashion shoot. I mean, the guy was just like beautiful. Like really, I'm serious. Like the way he was dressed, the way he was put together, his glasses, his hair, everything. He looked amazing for his age. And he was doing all these fun poses with everybody. Like he was like cutting people open and let me get you by your neck, and it was just a lot of fun. And then when I got up there, he just kind of like put his arm on me, and sorry if you hear this, I'm talking some water there. He just like put his arm on my shoulder and was like, "Yeah, we're just gonna be two cool guys hanging out." And it melted me. Like it was just so cool. He had his arm on my shoulder. And he's like, "Yeah, we're just two cool guys, man. We're just hanging out." I had my fake knife. He had his blades on his fingertips, and such a cool moment, such a great time. Like I said, I really can't thank my wife enough. And when I walked away, I had tears in my eyes. I'm holding this picture. I took the picture right to the car, so that way the picture did not get messed up. And came back to the Comic Con, hung out, took some more video. Um, but like I had to sit down on the way back to the car. I just had to sit down. I was like shaking almost uncontrollably. I thought I was gonna like bend the picture. I was shaking so bad and just like tearing up a lot. Like I said, this is one of those things where you meet, you can meet famous people. Like James Murray's cool. He's a famous guy. I like him a lot. But Stan Lee and Robert Englund, these guys are England. These guys are icons, man, absolute icons. And Carrie Ann, I love you to death. You're just oh god. Our force cut me off, but um, I can't stop saying enough about it. Just truly amazing, truly lucky, truly blessed. And hopefully you guys have a great tomorrow. Look forward tomorrow. Hopefully, like I said, I got some cool footage of this spooky Empire Con. So look forward to that this week. I'll get some cool stuff put together, kind of give you a virtual tour. And there'll even be a moment where my beautiful wife takes control of the camera and kind of walks around with you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Good dinner started. My wife's like, "Yeah, what are you doing? Just get this dinner going, tacos." I think so too.
Yeah, I just don't know about, staying. I don't know about
You guys get all that? All right, guys. Don't forget, like I said, to hit that comment section down below. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs down. Happy Halloween. It's the last Monday show of October. Hopefully, you guys are watching some cool, scary movies. Let me know if you've watched anything really cool. I've got some cool horror stories of my own, some cool, scary tales. Please check those out. And remember, guys, this isn't goodbye. It's simply to be continued. And until next time, don't spend that quarter anywhere else. Thank you so much for hanging out, and hit the comment section, guys. Don't forget, you get some free comic books from Marvel Comics. Just hit that comment section down below. All right, guys, love you much. Catch you next time. Later.